bitch, go bad 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 bitch, ass fat, 40-inch hair, yours came in the pack. Camel toe fat, you can see it from the back.
She make it clap, I got the strap, 21 gats, feel like I'm savage, 21 bitches and none of them average. I'm gon' fuck me tonight, me a bad bitch. I don't give a fuck about niggas, I don't give a fuck about hoes, I don't give a fuck about your bros, I don't give a fuck about your toes, your hoes, your manicure, pedicure toes. I'm coming on the block with the rocks, 20-inch Glocks in my socks. Niggas keep doing that crazy ass shit. If I go to jail, I'ma keep it locked in the
Part 3, what if Naruto had a 6th dojustu? Let's get into it. And I'm gonna make a new what if. Not a new what if, but a new part. A part to a what if. Probably gonna make a couple of them and then end it off. And then, yeah. So let's get into it. Naruto says, you guys can come in and out as they all walk in. And the people that are there, I'm pretty sure, is Naruto. Of course, Naruto. It's cool. No, Naruto. It's, 02. Madara and his girlfriend. I think it was Gara Mama, because I'm pretty sure she had the one tails. I'm not 100% sure though. But yeah, Gara Mama and what's that name? Nagato. If I'm sure. Yeah, Nagato. Yeah. Alright, so without further ado, let's get back into it. Nagato says, Madara says, I'm the only Uchiha here. He says me and her are the only Uchiha here, as he sighs. And Nata says, yeah. Nata says, what about it? And he says, I just thought there would be more people. As Naruto says, well, we'll look for more people next week. Now, as he prepares a dinner with the shadow clones, he says, eat up, we'll train in the morning. As everyone winds their eyes and says, but we've only been here for a day. As Naruto says, I don't care. We're gonna get you strong and then we're getting revenge on this horrible world. As Naruto says, they all say, yes sir. As Naruto looks at 02, grabs her hand, and goes into her room. As he lays down on 02, and he kisses her. As he says, good night, 02. As she says, as she's about to walk out the door, 02 jumps on his back and says, I don't want you to go yet. As Naruto says, yeah, but I have some business to attend to. As she says, oh, okay. As he says, hey, don't be sad. I love you. As she blushes and says, I love you too. As fucking Discord, bro. As Naruto is saying, as she says, oh, okay. And he kisses her. He walks out, goes to the door, and he says, don't go into that room. As they said, that's not your room. Your room will be labeled. As he body flickers back. And he body flickers to go label rooms, and body flickers. Madara and his girlfriend are sleeping together. Nagato is sleeping by himself. So is Gara, Mama, and pretty sure those are other people. I'm not sure if I added Obito in there. I don't think I did. Oh yeah. And at the Leaf Village, Minato is the Hokage right now. Yeah. Wait, will Minato even exist? Because we're not it. Anyway, Minato is existing right now in the Leaf. He's the Hokage, the 4th. Actually, no, he's the 3rd Hokage. Yeah, he's the 3rd Hokage. Naruto says, yeah. Yeah, that should be accurate. Naruto goes into his room, closes and locks the door. As he looks at Konan and Naruto, Konan and Tsunade still sleeping. As he says, "What am I gonna do with you two? Always disobeying my rules." As he lays on Tsunade's ass and puts his hand on Konan's breast. As he goes to bed, as Naruto wakes up to a loud. He wakes up. Yeah, he wakes up to find his face, and Tsunade's make sure nobody around. Alright, he wakes up to find his face in Tsunade's pussy, and his hands inside Konan's shirt. As he says, "What the hell?" As he gets up, as they both do a soft moan. As he says, "Why did you?" He says, "You guys were awake the whole time." And Tsunade says, "Yeah, I didn't want to wake you. I didn't want to get punished again." As Konan nods, saying the same thing. As Naruto says, "Get ready. We're gonna be training." As he says, "Okay." And he says, "Tsunade, I want you to train Madara. He has wood release." As she says, "Okay." And he says, "Konan, you're gonna train." I forgot. I didn't even try to look up her name. It is what it is. He says, "You're gonna train his girlfriend, okay? And I'll train Nagato in the Jinchuriki." As he says, they say, "Okay." As Naruto goes and he beats on their door to find, or no. He goes into the main room to find Madara up doing push-ups. As Madara counts 10,087. As he collapses. Wait, no, Madara's stronger than that. Gotta give that book credit. As Madara, he says, "Damn it." As he gets up and Naruto says, "Go to 10,100. As he says, "You were close, just finish it off. You had 13 left." I'm pretty sure it said 187, 10,087. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Nagato, Madara says, "Okay, master." He says, "Yes, sir." I can't have that nigga calling him master, bro. Only yes, some girls can call him master. I ain't gonna say that. As he does the rest of the push-ups, and he says, "Have you eaten anything?" As he says, "No." As he says, "Come with me. We'll wake the rest up later today." Or he says, "When we get back." Oh, that nigga was beating my window. Some firecrackers. But yeah, he says, "Oh yeah, and happy 4th of July, by the way." I don't know why I said that. But yeah, Naruto says, Naruto says, "Come on," as he opens the door and closes it with him and Madara outside, or the boulder, whatever you want to call it. It's illusion, or genjutsu, or illusion, like an illusion genjutsu. As Naruto says, no. Their base is inside inside that tree. Cause I'm pretty sure Nagato was inside a tree. Yeah, pretty sure he was. So their base is where Nagato was. Actually, fuck that. Yes, for the fucking rocks and shit. The cave. I'm not gonna change that shit up now. 3 episodes in. Naruto says, he says, "You see that you see that flock of deers, or I don't know what to call it. Wait. But he says, "Do you see those deers?" As he says, "Yeah. What about them?" As he says, "I want you to kill them." As he makes a sword and says, "You have to be swift." Actually, he says, no. Yeah, he actually, and then he takes the sword back and says, "Matter of fact, use your Sharingan to kill them." As Naruto, Madara says, "I can only put them in a genjutsu, and I don't even know if that's gonna work because they won't look me in my eye." As he says, tries doing an Amaterasu. As he says, "What's that?" As he says, "It's a very hot black flame." As Naruto says, Madara says, "Okay." As Madara goes up and he says, "Wait." As he turns around and he says, "How do you know?" He says, "How do you know?" He says, "Is the Amaterasu performed by Sharingan?" As he says, "Yes." As Madara, he looks up and says, "Did you steal my client's Sharingan?" As Naruto chuckles and says, "No, boy. And even if I did, you couldn't rival me to take him back. But I didn't take him. It was a blessing, I guess." As he chuckles, says, "Now, go give the test. Go do the test that I gave you, and be back for 5 minutes." As Madara says, "But," as he says, 5 minutes. If you don't, you're gonna get trained all day, kid." As he laughs and says, "Now, go. Time starts. As soon as you get close to those deers." As a couple minutes, 3 minutes later, Madara's panting, bringing back a deer on his shoulder and carrying 2 deers on his carrying 2 deers with his hand, dragging them. As Naruto says, "Bravo, 3 minutes." Use the reward. As he rips out his eye and puts he rips out his eye and Madara falls to the ground. He says, "Why did you do that?" As he activates his Sharingan trying to fight Naruto while still holding his eye. As Naruto rips out his eye and puts it in Madara's eye. As Madara doesn't feel the pain anymore. And he goes away. As he now has his MS. Yeah, he now has Naruto's MS, which is basically Madara's Sharingan with a 3 to Moe. Yeah. Madara's Sharingan with a 3 to Moe. Yeah, that look nice. As not actually no, Itachi's EMS with the 3 to Moe Sharingan. As Naruto says, "There, boy, now you have an MS." Or as he says, "What is an MS?" As he has a Mangekyo Sharingan. Next coming in line, get your Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And he says, "Then there's the one I have." He says, "I have a couple pairs of Sharingan, special pairs. I might give them to you if you get strong enough." As he says, "Can I know their names?" As he says, "Sure." He says, "The one after your EMS, which can only be unlocked by a pure-blooded 100% Uchiha, is the Devastation Sharingan." It basically, he says it's basically what his name called. He says you have a stronger Amaterasu flame, and you can perform the Suki. He says you can perform the Tsukiyomi, and you have to look at them in their eyes. They don't have to look at you. And he says you can also do some classic little genjutsus that'll be strong. He says they'll be like mind ticking. It's gonna be easy to break out of them, but hard to actually don't. Well, he says it's kind of a mind. It's tricking your mind that you can't break out of it, even though it's really easy to break out of. And he says your last move is a meteorite, 3 meteorites to be exact. As he says, and after they fall, three red lasers come and finish off the damage. As he says, and after that, you have the Rene Sharing. The Rene Sharing line. I think that's how you. I think that's how you pronounce it. I forgot. The Rene Sharing. Yeah, he says after that you have the Rene Sharing line. As he says, a Rene line, and he says it's basically a Rene line with Nagato has and the Sharingan combined. As he says, that's cool. As he explains the abilities, he says abilities, one of them, you can switch places with your opponent and you leave, he says you switch places with your opponent and leave Amaterasu, with, he says you leave Amaterasu with whatever your, fucking, I don't want to say bloodline, but I forgot I think it's called your chakra nature. He says whatever your chakra nature is, you leave type of, like, he says if you're lightning, you leave lightning. If you're, and he says, and that one will probably be the most useful for this ability. He says wood style, which is what you have, you probably put them in a wood prison and it would burn. He says the Amaterasu would probably burn them. As he thinks of a good idea, he says, that wouldn't be bad after all. As Naruto says, Naruto says the third ability, it's a genjutsu, or, yeah, it's a genjutsu, or a little small genjutsu, where you're putting a chidori in their heart. Or, like I said, whatever your chakra nature is, since you have wood style, you're probably putting what's that motherfucker called? A wood spike or a wooden golem thingy. Whatever the fuck Toby Rama spawned. I don't know what, it was only like Madara. The 100,000 hand thingies. He says you'll probably be using that. As Naruto says, Madara says, I can become that powerful. As he says, yeah, kid. He says, he says after that, that's pretty much it. As he says, no, there's one secret chakra nature that he says that it's pretty rare to get. You have to be coming from the right clan and 100% purity from this clan. It's chaos, as he says. Naruto says, or he says it's chaos. There's also one more that I have that pretty sure nobody else has. As he says, Madara says, do you have chaos, sir? As he says, yeah, and call me Naruto. Sir is just getting funny. As he says, oh, okay, Naruto. As he says chaos, the first move, which you probably won't be able to unlock unless you're, as he says, Madara says, unless I'm what, he says you have to go through much pain to get this chaos. As he says, I have it, but he says it's a bad. Y'all done? He says it's a bad side of, my fucking God. He says it's a bad side, and I don't like bringing it out. It, as he looks down, he says I killed people before. Not that I don't like killing people. It's just that with that chaos power, I had no emotions after I used it. It took me a couple months to get my emotions back. As Naruto says, so even if you do get it, don't use it unless you have to. It's very powerful. I mean, you could probably solo the Otsutsuki King or the creator of chakra. As he, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. He says, Mara says, who's the creator of chakra? As he says, Kage Otsutsuki. And she says, I'm part Otsutsuki. Wait, I'm pretty sure I said he was 50% Otsutsuki. Yeah, he says I'm part Otsutsuki, 25% Senju, and 25% Uchiha. As he says, watch this. As he focuses his chakra in his hair, and his hair turns white. As Madara jumps, and he says, what the hell? As he says, now watch this. As he focuses his chakra even more, and he grows horns, and his skin turns palish white. As Naruto says, this is my Otsutsuki form. As he looks like Ishiki. Yeah, he looked like Ishiki Otsutsuki, but basically stronger. No, he looked like Ishiki and fuck, what's that one nigga name? Ishiki, but his colors are like Momoshiki's, and he has the yellow Rinnegan that can absorption shit. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. The yeah, and it's on his hand. It's not on his forehead. Fuck that shit. That big ass forehead. And he has a never mind. He has a what's that thing called? The Ringoku Sharingan, or sorry, the Ryan. No, I'm thinking of Shindo Life. He has the Fuck, I play Shindo Life too much. I forgot what the name is called. The Ren. It's basically the Rinnegan and the Renshiki. The Rene Sharingan? Yeah, the Rene Sharingan. Yeah, so basically he has the Rene Sharingan EMS, and he has another. His eyes are orange. As Naruto, he says, "Why are your eyes orange?" He said, "That's chaos." And she says, "I don't use my eyes much. I use my hands." As he lets it all go as he turns back to his human state. Still unnoticing that his hair is white, as Madara doesn't say anything, thinking that he did this on purpose. As Naruto says, he says, Madara, let's get back inside. As Madara bows and says, yes, Naruto. As they go back inside to wake everyone up. As Naruto, everyone looking at Naruto and says, Naruto, your hair. As Naruto says, what about it? It's orange. As my bad. Naruto says, what about it? It's the same color as yours. Or he's the same color as Tsunade, blonde. Blonde is yellow. As Naruto sighs and says, come on. Everyone, Madara stops him and says, sir, your hair, it's the same as outside. The white hair. As Naruto, he says, oh, as he changed his hair back to orange. As Tsunade and Konan walk into the room, and Naruto kisses them both. And Zero 2 walks out as he picks her up and kisses her. as he puts her down to this good girl. She blushes and hugs Naruto. As you can probably see, y'all know who his favorite is. As Naruto walks out the door, or Conan, oh no, they say, "Come on, guys, time to train." As she says, "Master," she jumps on Naruto back and says, "Master, who am I going to be training?" As he says, "Oh, I'm going to be training you." As she says, "Okay." As she thinks nothing about it. As he says, "Who's going to be training Conan and Tsunade?" As Zero Two says that. Naruto says, I'll say they're gonna be training Madara, or he says, he's he says Madara is gonna be training with Tsunade since they both have wood style, and does Tsunade really have? Cause she's the Senju. I never seen her use her wood style. I just thought of that. I don't think I never seen Tsunade use wood style. What the? I just thought of that. Anyway, she has wood style in this if she doesn't have it in canon. So yeah, what the hell? I never thought of that. So he says Conan will be training his girlfriend, and I'll be training Nagato. He says Conan will be training his girlfriend, and I'll be training Nagato and the ginger girl, Madara's Gaara's mom. I'm gonna give her a name. I low-key forgot her name. I know it. I'm not trying to be like, I don't know nobody's name in this, but I know their names. I just forget because they told me they told us Gaara's mama name, so I just forgot it. Yeah. So I'm gonna say her name is Sora. Yeah. Her name's no fuck it. Her name's gonna be Gaara's mom. As he says, he says Gaara's mom, come on. As she comes over there, and he says Nagato here. As Nagato body flickers. As he says, you said you cracked the prodigy. I'm not with you and that Madara boy. As she says, what about me, Naruto? Or she says, what about me, sir? As he says, don't call me sir anymore, call me Naruto. That's for everyone. As they all say, yes, Naruto. As he looks at Tsunade and Tsunade and Conan says, but if you two, you keep the same name that I told you to keep. As Zero Two is still on Naruto's back. As he says, now. He says, now, first thing first, chakra nature. I'm gonna be teaching you Sage Mode. As Naruto says, this technique will take up to 3 years, but for me, it took a couple of days. As they all went their eyes and says, what do you mean a couple of days? He says, it's pretty easy. Just doing things and, well, without further ado, Naruto says, I want you guys, as he says, Conan. Actually, he says, I'll teach you this Sage Mode probably 3 years, or he says 3 years before you attack, or 5 years before you attack, so you can have an extra 2 years to get your body stamina and train. As Naruto says, yes, sir. Nagato is he's very focused. He says, yes, Naruto. As Naruto, he says that boy Nagato is very focused. I like that about him. as he sees Gar's mom looking out into the distance as he body flicks in front of her and says what he's looking at as she jumps and falls. No. She jumps and falls on her back as Narcissus struggles and says focus. He says now I just want you guys to learn chakra control, the basics, and then you'll spar. He says Nagato, don't use that Renegon of yours. As he says, I'll teach you some abilities too. As he says, sweet time skip. He says Nagato and Nagato and Gar's mom have been doing chakra control. As Naruto says, that should be it. He says, you guys been going at it for a couple hours. Get up. As they get up and Gar's mom falls, as Nagato helps her up. As she blushes at this. As Nagato says, don't be so clumsy. And then Naruto says, okay, I want you guys to spar. And remember, Nagato, don't use the Rinnegan. And he says, he says, Gar's mom, don't use the tail beast. As they spar, they go at it for a couple, like 35, 45 minutes. Both charging their chakra, depleting their chakra, and redoing it weird again. As Naruto says, he goes to go check on Tsunade and Konan as he sees Tsunade sleep. As he says, oh well. As Zero Two jumps down and kisses Naruto and says, what was that for? As she says, I just want to kiss you. I haven't kissed you in a long time. As Naruto chuckles and says, I kissed you yesterday. As she says, yeah, but that was such a while ago. And Naruto says, Conan said, and Zero Two says, plus I love your kisses. And she kisses him again for like 7 seconds. Its saliva comes out. As Naruto says, he says, okay, get back on my back. I was enjoying you up there. And she says, okay. And she jumps on his back. And Conan and Madara's girlfriend are done with their training. They're done with their training. As Naruto says, look like they're done. As he sees the med in his side, and he says, okay. As Naruto body flickers back to the Nagato and body battle, as he sees Nagato about to do a final blow on whatchamacallit, on Madara's mom, Gaara's mom. Fuck, I'm gonna give her a name. I'm gonna give her name Emily. That's something I can remember. He says he grabs Nagato's hand and puts the kunai to his neck. He says, I never said you could kill her. As he takes the kunai, and she says, and Zero Two says, Naruto, don't you think that was a little too much? As he says, okay. As he chuckles, sorry Nagato, I can't have anyone killing any of our members. As he says, no, it's my fault. I should have known my place. As he says, what is my punishment? As Naruto says, run 10,000. He says run 1,000 laps around the base and do 10,000 push-ups when you get inside. As for you, since you're so weak, you're gonna be doing the same thing. As he points to Emily, as she says, "Yes, yes, Naruto." As they get to running, wait, yeah, he says 1,000 laps. No, he says 50, 100 laps. As Naruto says, he parks focus back inside, and he's sweaty. As what's her name? 02, he gets on his bed and just sits up. As he sighs and takes off his shirt. As 02 says, pushes him down in the bed, and 18 plus him. Make sure nobody bought me. Alright. She zips him down and she pushes him down and unzips his pants. 35 minutes in. The first sex scene. Okay. As he says, I need to go take a shower, 02. As he's about to get up, as she pushes him back down and starts rubbing his tip. As Naruto says, Naruto groans and says, I need to go take a shower. You can do it when we get out, okay? As she says, but I want it now. As she starts gobbling, she starts turkey gobbling his cock, and Naruto busts a load in her mouth after a couple of minutes. As Naruto says, she says, I love the sweat and the must. No, Nagato didn't say that. Nagato, I mispronounced that. 02 says that. She says, I love it so much. As she says, she takes up her skirt and jumps on Naruto's cock. As it plunges her deep in the inside. And Naruto says, damn it. He says, fine, you got me, but only for 10 minutes. As he set the timer. And he's going at it with 02 as 9 minutes passed, and he's about to bust a load inside of her. As she says, yes, inside. As Naruto hears the thing, it says, looks like the time is over. As he pulls out, but he pulls out with 02. She's come like twice. As Naruto says, I'll go take a shower now. As 02 says, finish. She says, are you gonna finish? As he says, sorry, only 10 minutes. And he says, he body flickers to the shower and takes his clothes. No, he gets in the shower until then. 02 walks in, or Tsunade. No. He opens the shower thing to go into the shower thing. That didn't make a lot of sense. Let me rephrase that. He walks into the bathroom, and he opens the shower curtain to see Tsunade as he bends her over and plunges his cock in her ass. Her ass, not her pussy. Get it right. As he said, this is what you get for sleeping on the job. Plus this fat ass. Can't just let it pass up. I can't just pass that up. As we go back to 02 playing with herself in her bed. As we go back to Naruto and Tsunade. As Naruto says, you hear me? Don't you ever, as he's plunging and going super hard inside, ever sleep on a job. And she said, yes, master. As as Naruto comes inside of her. As he says, damn. As he's huffing and puffing. As he says, he smacks her ass. As she falls on her knees. And she falls on her knees as cum starts dripping from her asshole. As Naruto chuckles and leaves the shower. But before he does, he nuts on Tsunade a couple times. And Tsunade's still sensitive. She was still sensitive from the vibrator. And Naruto was still sensitive from 02. So Naruto says, sleepy, as he goes on the couch. Because it's closer. The couch is closer, not his room. As he goes to sleep. And he wakes up in the middle of the night to see 02 pressing her butt against his cock. And she's sleeping too. As she's just moving back and back and back. As Naruto gets a boner and it hits her pussy. As Naruto says, damn it. You had to come in here. Now to destroy your pussy. As Naruto bends her over on the couch. As she's still sleeping. The long side. Like where the top cushions are. Yeah, he bends her over on that part. And he says, damn it. As he takes down his pants and plunges his cock in her pussy this time. As she instantly comes from waking up from a wet dream. As she moans super loud, as Naruto covers her mouth and says, we don't want to wake anyone up, do we? As he starts plunging her, and Naruto, or time skip after that, he drops a load inside of her, and she's bending over. She's still where he bent her over at, but she's slouching over on the couch, and her ass is like where he bent her over at, and her legs are in the air. Yeah. She's like on her stomach though. Yeah. And Naruto says, trying to tease me. As he bites her ear, as a soft, cute moan comes out. As she tries to get up, falls, and Naruto puts her on puts her back on the couch. This time, Naruto, he makes sure wait, let me make sure I can hear you. He makes sure that her ass is on his cock. Like he has his pants on and her cum is still dripping. His cum is still dripping from her ass. Or pussy. My bad. As Naruto chuckles and says, damn, I really did a number on her. As she says, as Naruto goes to sleep again. And a cover drops around them too. So yeah, as Naruto wakes up, feels something on his cock. As he opens his eyes, he looks under the cover to see 02 gobbling down his cock. She says, Master, you've already come to my mouth twice. One more time, please. And she says, that was messed up what you did last night. You just bent me over and she starts blushing hard. And you did those naughty things to me. As she starts blowing him off. And she starts gobbling him down at the same time, jerking him off. As Naruto busts a load in her mouth about 2 minutes later. And she doesn't swallow everything. because this one is bigger than usual. As Naruto's been saving. Well, no. Yeah, but this one is bigger than usual. As his son is spilling on the couch. As he says, as he looks at her, and he looks at her, and she looks at him with like, I fucked up. As he kisses her forehead, and says, I'll give you your punishment later. As he says, let's go take a shower. And before he does, he switched out the couch to make sure nobody knows. And they're still asleep. Not to woke up like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like 7 now. Or 5 in the morning now. Naruto goes down in the shower water. As he go take a shower with Zero-Two, as he wraps his arm around her stomach and pushes her back towards him. Pushes her ass towards his cock. As he says, he says, I love you, Zero-Two. As he turns around, or she turns around and kisses him. As she jumps on him. And she says, can I get my punishment now? As he says, you want it that bad, you naughty girl. As she blushes, as Naruto starts fingering her. As she releases cum. As Naruto says, as he says, shadow clone jutsu. As he says, I don't think I ever used these shadow clones on you. Have I? As he keeps the shower running, and he walks out the shower. As he grabs her hand and bends her over on the wall. As she says, no, you will never. As she allows moans come from her, but it's blocked by the shower, the running shower water. As 2 clocks in front of her eyes, one in her eyes, one in her pussy. As Naruto, shadow clone starts beating her cheeks down. You already know what the dealio is. He beating her cheeks down. As he comes at the same time as Naruto, as she falls down with cum coming to both of her holes. As Naruto says he gets a shadow clone. Or he gets like 7 shadow clones to jerk off to her on the ground as she's giving him guac guac. As Naruto says, damn, I'm about to, as he says, she busts in her mouth, and he keeps her head down to make sure she swallows it all this time. As she looks up, with still the cum in her mouth. As he says, good girl. As he squeezes her nipples, as she moans, and this time still blocked by the shower, running around on the shower. As Naruto, he or she gets her titties and basically gives him a titty job. And at the same time, she's licking his tip. And as he busts in her face. And Naruto says, as Naruto says, that's enough for now. That's your punishment. As Naruto walks out, and all the shadow clones nut onto her, as they are poof, poof, poof. As Naruto walks back and says, I want to give more though. As he walks back into the restroom, or walking to the restroom, as he stops and sees Konoha on the way, and he sees that she's awake. As he chuckles and says, my lucky day. As he opens the door and closes and locks it. As he says, hi, Konan. As she says, oh, hi, master. You're happier than usual. As he says, yeah. And actually, he says, I want to teach you something. Get up really quick. As she gets up and stretches as he sees her titties bounce. As Naruto says, Naruto grips her titties. And she looks down and says, Master, what are you doing? As he says, he bends her over and impales her. As he comes at her twice. As Naruto says, he leaves the room. And a couple hours later, it's like 12 now. Or it's like I think I said it was 5. Yeah, it was 5. Now it's 8. As Naruto wakes everyone up, tells them to get the hell up, we're trying to train. As Konan, Tsunade, and Zero Two are still so they're getting aftershock of Naruto basically blowing at their backs. As none of them move. Naruto turned the shower off and he put her in the same room with Tsunade. As Tsunade and Zero Two were his favorite. As but Zero Two was more favorite than Tsunade. Order goes 02 Tsunade Konan. And 02 says 02 says no, she's knocked the fuck out. Naruto says looks like they won't be moving anytime soon. As he says Madara, Madara, did you guys do your walk, your run, and then your 10,000 push-ups inside? As Naruto takes his shirt off and says, hell yeah, I did. Or Nagato, it was Nagato. Nagato says, hell yeah, I did. Look at that. As he shows a 4-pack. As Emily starts blushing. As he says, Nagato, turn around. As to see Emily right behind him with his shirt still raised. As he lowers his shirt and says, oh, sorry. As he says, Master, or he says, Naruto, or yeah, he says, Naruto, why would you do that? And she says, do what, kid? I didn't even know she was behind you. Let's go train. And she says, Madara and his girlfriend to go just keep running and working on the chakra release or whatever, working on their Sharingans. And Naruto's working on his wood staff since them niggas was all passed out. As Naruto says, no. I want you guys to. Oh wait, I want to rechange your ages because I don't want Naruto to be a 40-year-old man in the future. That's just disgusting. Now Naruto's. Bet you he was like 20 something. Okay, but here's their ages. 02, 13. Hey. It's age different, bro. Like, age difference. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's a lolly, bro. Come on, you gotta get that in, too. But yeah, and Naruto's 16. 02, 18. Tsunade, 20. Konan, 20. I wanna make Naruto a little bit younger. But just know Tsunade and Naruto grew up together. Well, fuck about the age. They just did. Y'all, hey man, I just didn't want to make him like super old when Naruto generation got around. Yeah. As Naruto says, Naruto yawned. She says, that's enough practice for today. As Nagato just unlearned he got a tomo on his Sharingan. As Naruto says, you're doing good, kid. By the end of the year, you should have a couple more tomos. And you might even unlock. As he says, he whispers in his ear, they're in a Sharingan. As he says, I didn't even know, he says, you're no Chia? As he says, no, I'm not. as he says, just pure power. As he rubs Nagato's head. As we time skip a couple years, matter of fact, we time skip, what time skip Naruto's 18, she was 13, 20, and 20. Alright, let's get these ages right. Time skip 3 years, Naruto will be 21, Tsunade Konan 23, and, 0 to 16. Yeah. Or not saying Naruto was 16, right? That means he's 19 now. Then Konan and Tsunade is 23, and 02, y'all know. She's 20, it's like, I lied, she's 16. She's a minor, but who cares about that? Not me. Don't care if the FBI knock on this bitch and tell me to change it. I'm not changing shit. But yeah, Naruto says, I think it's time we get our revenge on this accursed world. As Naruto says, he looks at Madara as Madara body flickers in front of him and says, yes, Naruto, we will destroy this accursed world and create a new one with peace. And she says, no, I don't want to destroy it. I just want to, let's say, wipe out the people that did us wrong, or our villages that did us wrong. As they all cheer, besides Konan, 02, and Tsunade, which 02 is sitting on his lap. 02 is sitting on Naruto's lap, with Konan and Tsunade leaning on his shoulder. As Naruto says, also, he looks at Nagato and Emily. He says, you two, you know, you guys have started dating. As he blushes and says, Naruto, if it's not okay with you, we can. As he chuckles and says, no, keep it going. I like relationships around here. I have 3. As Naruto, that's not as 02 turns around and kisses him. Actually, no. 02 jumps and says, yeah, that's me. As he's and Tsunade says, don't forget us. And then he says, don't forget about Tsunade and Konan. As he says, yeah, those are the other 2. As she starts bouncing on Naruto's lap. As Naruto says, as he makes corn, or he forces, or he starts rubbing on Jotu's leg. As he says now, this attack, let's plan what we'll attack first. He says, Leaf, I'm gonna destroy that village. As Tsunade says, she gets off his shoulder and says, what about my sister? As he looks at her, and he says, we can get her out. As she kisses his cheek and says, thank you, master. As they already know about Tsunade and Konan and 02's relationship. As Naruto says, next waterfall village. No, I'm pretty sure I got 02 from the stone village. Yeah, he says next to Zone Village, where this beautiful baby came from. As he wraps his arms even tighter around 02, signifying her. As he says next, the waterfall village. As he says, then we'll destroy any other remaining villages that pose a threat to us. As they gain 3 more new members, Obito, Pretty sure he was. Yeah, Obito. Kakashi. I'm sorry, I gotta do it. And Jashin. Had to get I forgot this nigga name. I just had it in my head. Wait, no, I remember now. Had to get his training. Hidan. Had to get Hidan. I'm sorry. I just love his morale about Jashin. Master Jashin. It's crazy. And he's immortal. So yeah. Or I might get Kaku's. No. Naruto says now, as he looks at Zero to Konan and Tsunade, he says, would you guys like to come on the first village? It's tomorrow. As they say, yes, please. As Naruto says, okay. And he says, we'll be attacking them shortly. And that's how I'm going to be ending off this episode. Well, no. No, I don't want to end it off like that. I want to have a better intro. Naruto says, the attack will start tomorrow. I'll destroy this accursed world. And that's why I'm going to be ending off this part of this What If.